Hi, and welcome to Vertigo Strings in Action. I'm Chris from Cinematic Instruments, and in this little video series I'd like to show you different ways in which you can use our new string library, Vertigo Strings. In this first little episode I'd like to show you how you can use Vertigo Strings for sketching. Think of you have a scene which you want to write the music to, but you don't really know where to start, and you quickly have to get something done that you can show to the director or whatever. Well, what's the first thing that you do when you open a new library? Right, you go to presets, check them all out. That's one way to use Vertigo Strings. For example, I could go Scarface, that sounds interesting. Sounds a bit too raw for my taste. Maybe bittersweet. Not exactly what I want to go for as well. I chose this preset before I started recording. Sorry. What's great about this particular preset is that it makes use of the interval parameter. You have 16 different sounds which you can mix into one giant string pad, and you can't only change the volume and the panorama position of everything. No, you can also change the pitch, which actually makes some pretty interesting chords. So if we take everything that is not tuned in an octave, oh, this is gonna sound very boring because that's only be one violin. What do we have playing in the sequencer? One note. Yeah, terrible idea. Let's put those back in. Oh, that's where you get all that tension from all those little steps in between. And as you can see, it's rather easy to make a very interesting and individual sound, because of course all these sounds sound completely different, but by tuning them in different ways and then mixing them and giving them their own specific position in the stereo field, you can make some very, very, very interesting sounds. Same goes for the effects. We got a tone knob, which is also routed to the modulation wheel for articulation purposes. You have the fog one. This adds the sound of a rotary speaker. And you have the retro one. Which uses the impulse response of a tape delay, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, of a tape delay, and adds that to the sound, which can make it pretty weird. Okay, that's one way. Another way that I used for this demonstration is taking a sound and then modulating some of the volumes in my sequencer. To do this, you can just go to Automation, then select one of these parameters out of the list, and then you can drag them onto every fader or knob that you would ever want. And then, well, in Cubase you can just use this menu to add the automation tracks. I don't know how it works in other sequences because I'm only using Cubase at the moment, but that's essentially how you do it. And that can give you this kind of sound. So as you see, it's one big crescendo. The mod wheel that I've drawn into this modulation lane actually controls the volume and the tone at the same time to make it a little bit more expressive. But I also have different sounds fading in over the time. So if we look at the panel while it's playing, can see these are all growing and they all make kind of a chord with 7 semitones. That's a 5th, that's a 6th, and octave below. Oh yeah, good one on the side. Intimate piano by Cinematic Instruments. And that's one scene that really makes use of the different sounds because it's just one note, but I'm adding and removing the different sounds, and that really makes the scene come alive. The last application that I want to show you is maybe the easiest one. This is just ensemble usage. So you have chords playing, and you might have some modulation wheel to also add some dynamics. And then you have a patch which uses one of the ensemble sounds as a basis and then adds some of the violins for flavor. For example, these are 3 violins that were played with the bow positioned very close to the bridge, which gives it a very fragile sound, and harmonics. This is a violin playing harmonics. It sounds pretty interesting on its own. Oh, and of course you have the bone noise, which also adds some, well, I'd call it intimacy to the sound. So these are harmonics. Then we have the Ponticello violins on the left side. And then we have the Silhouette Strings ensemble as a basis for the sound. As you see, I didn't even add a reverb in Cubase or anything like that. It's just a little bit of compression and a little bit of EQing, and that's it, I'm done. So that's how you use Vertigo Strings for quickly sketching musical ideas. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and see you next time.